a new king arose in Egypt that did not know Joseph. And he said to his people, "Look, the Israelites are more numerous and more powerful than we. Come, let us deal shrewdly with them, or they will multiply, and in the event of war, they will side with our enemies and fight against us and leave this land." So the Egyptians set taskmasters over the Israelites to oppress them with hard labor. They built the supply cities of Pithom and Ramses for Pharaoh, but the more they were oppressed, the more they multiplied and spread, so that the Egyptians came to dread the Israelites. They began to oppress them and become ruthless in all the tasks that they imposed on the Israelites. They gave them tasks of hard labor in mortar and brick and all kinds of field labor. The Egyptians became ruthless in all the tasks that they imposed over the Israelites. The Pharaoh called the Hebrew midwives and commanded them to come to him. One was named Shiphrah and the other Puah. And he said to them, "When you act as midwife for the Hebrew women and you see them on their birthing stools, if it is a boy, kill him. But if it is a girl, she may live." But the Hebrew midwives feared God. And so they did not do what the king of Egypt commanded them to do. But they let the boys live. When the Pharaoh heard about this, he summoned them again, and he said, "Why have you done this? Why have you let the boys live?" And the Hebrew midwives, Shiphrah and Puah, they said, "Your Majesty, the Hebrew women are not like the Egyptian women. They are vigorous, and they give birth before we can even come to them." And so God dealt well with the Israelites, and they continued to multiply and grow strong. And because the midwives feared God, God gave them families as well. But the Egyptian Pharaoh commanded all of his people, "Every baby boy born to the Hebrews should be thrown into the Nile." Now, there was a man from the house of Levi. He went and married a Levite woman, and they conceived, and she bore a baby, a fine baby. And when she saw that it was a baby boy, she hid him away for 3 months. And when she could no longer hide him, she took a basket made of papyrus and she painted it with bitumen and pitch so that it was waterproof. And she laid that fine baby boy in that basket. And she took the basket and she nestled it in the papyrus reeds along the Nile River. And she left it there. Now that baby boy's big sister, Miriam, well, she waited along the riverbank a good ways off, watching to see what would happen to him. And in a little while, Pharaoh's daughter came to bathe in just that section of the Nile River, while her attendants waited on the side of the river. And she saw something in the reeds, and she had her attendants go and fetch it for her. And they brought her this basket. And when she opened it, she saw a fine baby boy. He was crying, and her heart went out to him. And she said, "This must be one of the Hebrew babies." Now, Miriam, his older sister, came to Pharaoh's daughter and said, "Shall I go get a Hebrew woman to nurse him for you?" She said, "Yes." So Miriam ran to her mother and brought her back. Pharaoh's daughter said, "Take this baby and nurse him for me, and I will pay you your wages." And his mother took him and nursed him. And when he grew up and was weaned, she brought him back and presented him to Pharaoh's daughter, who adopted him as her own. She decided to call him Moses because she said, "I drew him up out of the water." Through these words, may we hear the word of God for us in these days.